Hi, this is Vanessa, ViVa Artistry. I'm here today because we have received a couple of requests on how to color our digital stamps. I'm going to do my best to show you an easy way to do it that is very similar to the sample we have of the bird on our It's for the Birds package. We'll start by taking a look at our file. I have opened up our PSD layered file right here, and if you look on your layers palette, you will see that each of the parts on this bird is separated on a different layer and labeled. What I want you to do is to create a layer above each of them and clip it. You're gonna make a clipping mask by doing one of the two things, either Control-Alt-G or Command-Alt-G for Mac users, or you can simply create that layer, right-click, and press Create Clipping Mask. So go ahead and create a layer and clip it to each one of those parts. We're going to use those layers as our color base. So go ahead and create a layer and clip, and there we have. So each one of our parts has now a color layer. Go ahead and choose, I'm going to start from the body, and I'm going to choose a light gray color for it, almost white. I want to keep the body neutral. And so there you have. I filled it by pressing Alt Delete, but you can always go to Edit, Fill, and then choose your foreground color as your fill. I want you to grab a brush, and I have listed on our blog a few different places where you can grab some watercolor or paint style brushes. I'm using here one of Cindy Dorkson's brush sets. You can find it at DigiScrap Warehouse. And I'm gonna pick one of those painting brushes of hers. Now, to create some interest on that layer, you're gonna click on your foreground color, and you're gonna pick a slightly darker or lighter color from the one you have selected. So that was my original color, and I'm picking a darker gray now to add those painted marks to it. So go ahead and brush it a few times. With painted brushes, you want to be careful not to drag the brush across, because that will make a little repeated pattern, which doesn't look very natural. So if you look on my bird now, I have this nice marks on the body, and it just makes for a more interesting painting. Go ahead and choose your next step, and I'm gonna do our wings right there, and I'm picking this aqua color. I'm gonna fill it with the darker shade, and then I'm gonna go ahead and grab that lighter shade and do some paint strokes on it. I'll start from the tip, just do a couple of brushes, and you brush until you feel like you are happy with the results. I'm also picking a little white and a lighter brush, to create somewhat of a wash on that paint. There we go. You're happy with the results, you can stop. We'll be adding some inking to the edges of these brushes, so try to keep it on the lighter side, as the burning will darken it later on. Our tail feathers, I'll go ahead and do the same. I'm filling it with the reddish color here, and I'm using some of this green to add some contrast. Just make it colorful and happy. There we go. And some paint. And a little of that blue, but in a lighter shade. And of course, you can always paint each of the feathers a different color if you feel inclined to do so. You can do it in a different, couple of different ways. Go ahead and paint the beak of this bird. Bright red, some orange tint to it. There we go. A little more red, I think. Right. Yeah. There is no true science to this. I mean, you have to try different things and see how you like it. Just the basics, and again the top there, maybe I'll do the same color as the tail, and the red and orange. Sorry about that. And some of this green right here. Okay. Alright, so now we're gonna try to add some inking and a little more depth to the bird. Oh, the legs. Guess we gotta do the legs first. The legs. And here it is, and I'm gonna do it brown with some lighter brown strokes through it. Okay. So now for the inking and the depth aspect of it. If you think on a regular bird, these feathers right here would cast a little bit of a shadow over the body, and that's what I'm gonna do, although in a very light way, so it's not harsh and look too artificial. Go ahead and click on your drop shadows, and I like to work with a linear burn. And since the feathers are going towards the right there, I'm gonna change this to 120 so the shadows cast towards that direction. Add some distance, some size to it until it looks good. Not too dark, don't go this way, but not too light either. Just enough to add a little bit of depth. Okay, so we have our wing shadow, and we're going to start on a little trick I like to do for that inking effect. Click on your blending options there and go to Inner Glow. Then choose Linear Burn as your blend mode, and for the color we're starting with the body, so I'm gonna choose that gray but go all the way dark with it. Don't go black, but just slightly lighter than that. And then we're gonna increase the size, and as you increase the size you will see that the edge on that body starts to create a little bit of a inking effect. And I'm gonna make it a bit darker, but not too much. Okay. You're gonna go ahead and do the same thing with our next layer, which is the wings. And an inner glow. And you're going to pick that color right there and go dark with it. And linear burn. Increase your size. And there you have. Do the same with the tail. Inner glow. Color there. Dark. Linear burn. When you have so many colors as we have here on the tail, you want to pick a color that is more grayish, more neutral, so the inner glow is not casting any funny colors on the layers. Go ahead and do it. Now if you look on the tail, these feathers on the bottom, we're supposed to have a little bit of a shadow as well. Since our feathers are not layered, each of them, you might want to go ahead and click on your color there and pick your burn tool with a soft brush, an exposure of about 10 and mid-tone selected. Increase it and manually go ahead and burn a little bit of those bottom feathers. I want them to be slightly darker than your top feathers. There we go. You have it. It's looking better already. Let's finish with the beak. Again, inner glow, linear burn, select your color, dark. The beak I want to make it considerably darker, as I think that's a nice tone. Here we have. For the feathers on the forehead and the legs, as the strokes are very thin, you want to keep the inner glow small. We're going to make the size on those not as large as the other ones, but just as dark. And you want to do it just so you have that same inking effect throughout the whole thing. But keep it small and somewhat light. And the same goes for the forehead. The head and during your glow. Linear burn. And change the size until you're happy with it. Okay, and there you have. That's it for our tutorial. I hope you have found it useful. If you have any questions, please just leave us some comments on our blog and we would be happy to respond. Thank you.